I decided would start giving some basic classes in digitizing. Now, I have a dozen different digitizing programs. Most of them I discarded because they weren't what I needed. I'm almost exclusively use Digitizer, which was a Genome product. It's put out by Wilcom. They put the same product out now under a different name called Hatch. You can download it and use it free for 30 days. I also use PE Designs. I use it only for the photo stitch. I would like to learn more about it, be able to use the program more, and I probably will. But um, I'm so familiar with Digitizer because I've used it for more than 20 years that I find it fast and easy to use Digitizer. Now, almost any digitizing program is a complicated thing. Most all of them have exactly the same um, functions in them. So if your digitizing program is different, you just need to find those functions in your program, and they probably exist. Um, so I'm going to do some basic things. Most programs have an automatic digitizing, um, a way to automatically digitize a picture. And um, programs also vary in whether or not they use vector art or rasher art. Uh, as it Rashers how JPEGs made up of pixels. Most of them do both. Um, so we'll look at both of those probably in a different video. I'm just going to do a basic thing here. All right, so I have Open Digitizer. If you have Hatch, you'd find this looks exactly the same way. In the bottom, let me just go over some of these things, and then if you don't have this program, you can find them in your own. So most in this particular program, this is the work area where the butterfly is. Here is in the center of the hoop. This is the hoop that I use, and it goes with my machine. Let me click off of this. The machine I use the most is Genome's 500E. And depending here, because this is a Genome product, clicking here, I can pick whatever the machine is that I want. I have other machines, so in some cases, in the past, I used the 350E the most until I got the 500. I have 1500. I have a 1100. So depending upon, but most of the hoops are interchangeable between those machines. So this is the hoop. This is the machine I usually use, so this automatically comes up. This is the hoop that I usually use, which is the largest hoop for this size machine. You can here you can turn the direction of the hoop, which I often do. For this particular one, let me turn it the other way. Uh, if it's something long ways, I like to put it in the machine that it's at the top. So I'll turn the hoop because it's easier to digitize with it. You looking at it the right way. The machine will turn it around. Um, you can you can set a background for it, but I usually just do this. So what are some of this is the work area, and this is my hoop. And again, I can turn the hoop on and off. Sometimes it's easier to work in that area with the hoop turned off. You can also turn the grids on and off, and you can turn the rulers on and off. I never turn off on and off the grids. I never turn on and off the rulers, but I do turn on and off the hoop. Some of the other things that are up here are opening a new design, um, bringing in a design from new from something. In other words, copying a design that I already have and bringing it as a new design, but copied from a previous design. Opening up a design that already exists. My most recent designs. It'll list the ones that I've most recently worked on. Bringing in a design this is a little different from this one. This is bringing in a design, bringing in the design. This is bringing in a copy of the design. Artwork. Almost always work on top of artwork, and so this will insert artwork into the hoop. And you can see I've already brought in a piece of artwork. Clicking this off, it shows it over here. This is the first, this is the background. This is what I'm working on. This is not the design. Saving a design, printing a design, previewing the print before you print it off. Cut, copy, and paste. Do, undo, and redo something, and stop. Those are your basic things. These cut, copy, paste, do, undo, redo, and stop. Those are the most used ones. Now you could turn some of these toolbars off up here at the top, but I don't. I have turned off a few things, and you can go up here in Window, Toolbars, and you can see I don't have the machine status turned on. I don't have the status or the traveling turned on, but I do. The other things are all up here. This is selecting. There's selecting parts of a design and then reshaping them. These are the two most often used things. True view is once you have a design, showing it with the stitches or without the stitches. Turning this off shows it without. Turning it on shows it with. This show button means show what? Show the stitches, show the shapes, show the needle points. Very seldom need to see the needle points. I'll probably show you how to make a design using the needle points. Turning on and off the bitmap. When I click that, turning it off, it turns off the picture. If it's a vector artwork, this would work, but this is not vector. Dimming it, making it really faint. And if I'm using particular fabric, it would show that fabric underneath it if I brought the fabric in. So those are things to show or not show. This again shows the hoop or doesn't show the hoop, these three. This is a player, and this is grayed out because right now there's no stitches in here. Player will go through the design as if it were sewing. Graphics, this is if I want to go in and edit this picture, it will take me into Paint or Corel, in this case Corel Draw because that's on my machine. And so I can go in there and edit the picture, add lines, or almost never use this. Convert a picture. This will convert an embroidery, the objects, to vector artwork. It will change an embroidery into artwork that can be used or modified. Again, here's my hoop. Here's my machine. Sending it to the machine. That's what these are for, but they're grayed out because there's right now nothing here. The hoop that I've chosen, whether I want it right or left. These are the measurement units. You can do this in metric or in inches. I like inches. You can see them up here. The grid is in centimeters, but my ruler is in inches. This is putting in a background, and that background can be fabric or it can be just a color. This is for zooming in and out, and changing them. For example, 1-on-1, this is zooming in, panning one side to another, making it fit within the hoop, and so on. So I'm going to come back out because I want to. Now, those are your top things. Down here at the bottom, on this side, you have the color that is presently selected. This allows you to pick a color. The eyedropper, I can click on that, go in here, click on the picture, and it will notice it changed this to number 17, which is this color right here. And these are whatever colors I have in my palette here. And notice it says Janome because this is, it automatically uses a Janome palette because, as I said, this was Janome software. This is the fill if I want to apply that color to here. And these are the, sorry, but these are the colors that are right now in the, it goes up to 70 some colors, 78 colors. And I'll go over that in another time, how to set this up. If you, these are all set up with Janome colors, but I use Mettler colors. And I have a palette set up with Mettler colors, and I'll show you how to do that. Over here is adding a color to the palette, taking color out of it, hiding unused. If I click hide unused, notice everything disappears because I haven't picked any colors. Remove unused, that removes them from selection here, so that the only colors that would be left were the ones that are there. Let me give you let me bring up a design, and I'll show you how it works. So let's just pick one that has a few colors in it. Let's do this one. All right, this was a design for a column, and here it is in the hoop. And you see here at the bottom, these are the colors that are used in it. And so if I say hide unused, it only shows these colors. If I click that again, it'll show all the colors. And the ones that are used have this little mark in the upper corner that shows those are used colors. If I say remove unused, it will delete all of the colors except those colors. And I'm going to do that just to show you what happens. See, so now they're all deleted. So now if I click hide or unhide, it doesn't change anything because I've already deleted the colors that I'm not using. I almost never do that because almost always later want a color that's not there, and then you have to come up here to my threads and find the color that you want and add it to your palette, and so that can be a pain. All right, so that's the bottom here, and there's also a status bar usually below that, which will tell you exactly where you are in the design. Mine, because when I bring the cursor down here, it brings up that lower bottom. I can't get down there to really show you that. Oh, wait a minute. It was turned off up here because I almost never look at that. So it says show status. Where is that? Oh, toolbars. It's under toolbars. Toolbars. Status. See, if I turn this one on, now that there is actually an extra line down here. This shows where the width and the height of it, the number of stitches, and what kind of fabric if I've chosen. I don't really need to know that information, especially when I'm designing. That's helpful information afterwards, but not for in the design process. I don't need it. So I don't usually do that. I like the room. I like the room. Now this side has the toolboxes, and each of these drops down to becomes larger. Up here are the designs that are open, the one that I just had here, this one. In my designs, it will bring up whatever, usually in the reverse order of what I have designed. Right now it's open to the embroidery library, which is all of the designs, but you can narrow that down by clicking other things. So these were the last designs that I was working on. And it's nice that they're at the top because then I can just go in and click them if I want to continue working on it. So this is, on this side, you have object properties. Now you can click this off, and if you wanted and give yourself more room, but if you need it open again, you have to right click somewhere in object properties down here at the bottom. It's when you're designing, it's good to keep it open. You can make it smaller by, pulling the bar over here so that you have a little bit more room. But these two boxes are I generally keep open during the whole process. This one shows all the objects, the color. You can click color. You can go back and forth between the color and the objects itself. These are the individual objects. For example, if I hit this one, it'll highlight it. Let me turn off. Again, this is the true view that shows the stitches. You turn that off, it just shows them as either lines or shapes. And if you click on something like this one, it highlights it. Let me go down to one of the yellow ones. You can probably see it better if I click a yellow one. See how it highlights it there? So sometimes seeing it stitched out is nice to look at, but usually it's much easier to work with that turned off so that when you click on something, you can see that everything that is connected to that. All right, I'm going to close this. No, don't make any changes. So I'm going to go back to this design. And I just brought this into the hoop. And again, over here is artwork. I could click on this, insert artwork, or I can just do it from the top if it weren't already up there. The ones that I use on this side, almost exclusively, I use the Digitize. Today we're going to use the Auto Digitize because I'm assuming you don't know how to digitize. So I almost always use the Digitize, sometimes the Advanced Digitize, sometimes the multi-hooping. Almost never do any lettering, but if I do lettering, that's where I would go. Most everything else here I don't use very much, occasionally, but very seldom. All right, so this piece of artwork, I'm going to make it big enough to fill this whole hoop. Though I probably would never make a butterfly design this big. This is 10 inches. If you go by the measurements here, you can see it's actually 12 inches long by 8 inches wide. The center being the crosshairs here. That's the center of the hoop. I'm going to move him over a little bit. No, I want the center of the picture. So I'm just really making him big so that you can see it. This is the background. Now we're going to auto digitize this. That means we're going to let the computer, the program, make a lot of the decisions for us. So we've inserted the artwork. Auto digitize instant embroidery. I'll show you what that means. Clicking that, it automatically did the whole picture. All I did was click it. Now I have stitches. I have a background colors, and you can see these colors over here. Oh, my screen is going to act up now. Let me drop this down. Maybe if I bring it back up, it will come back up. See, it's not showing it here. Anyway, by clicking Auto Digitize, I have now white, and the true view is turned on. Let's go in a little closer. You can see it better. Out. All right. So it used this stitch, tatami, for everything, pretty much everything. I'll see some satin here, 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 satin stitches here, satin here and here. Everything else is this tatami. Let me click on those and you'll see that they are actually satin. There. See it's satin? That one lit up now. but it did it instantly. I didn't have to do anything. This works really well with clip art like this, and as long as the design isn't too complicated. Now, I don't like the idea that this, and this are satin, but everything else is not. I might want to go in here and change this to satin, and all I have to do is click that, and then click the satin, and then click this one, and click the satin, and click this one, and click the satin, and now all of those are satin. And this is satin. Maybe I want this satin too, so I'll click that satin. And maybe I want that black, like the other one, in which case I could come down here and click the black. Now, and this one, satin, black. This one, satin, black. This one, satin, black. Now, maybe I don't want this white background, so the easiest way to get rid of that is go over here to objects, which are not showing up right now. That is not the problem with the machine. That's the problem with my computer. This laptop is very old and it's very slow, and it sometimes does its own thing. So I clicked here, and all of these seem to be connected because it has selected everything. So let me see what happens when I click delete. It erased everything there. Now I have a feeling, I'm not sure if there's actual threads here, or if I'm looking at the background. So let's turn the background off and see. Yep, there's actual threads there. Now I might want to put an outline around everything. And again, those are things you can do also automatically. So let's say we'll click this. All right. I don't want to click to fill. I want to click to outline. It's not letting me. Maybe because there is no outline there, it doesn't want to do that. Well, so this is a fast and easy way to get a design. But again, as I say, you need to start with clip art. Supposing, and I'm going to just show you a few other things you can do with this. Supposing you want, again, and as I say, you can change all of these colors to anything you want. Whatever color you happen to like. And if you don't like it, there's always undo. Let's say, but also you have other options here besides the satin in here. I could have changed it to an embossed stitch. Let's take this section here and do an embossed stitch. Now, you're not limited to this embossed stitch. Down here at the bottom, here's the different patterns. And by clicking this, you can see that there are many, many, many patterns to choose from. So let's say I want to do, let's do the hearts, little hearts. And again, you can change the size of those hearts and the spacing between the hearts by changing numbers in here. And I can do the same one over here. Again, hearts or something else. Where is that? Oh, wait a minute. That's Tatiana. I want the embossed and hearts. That was this one. Or I have to warn you though, that sewing off embossed fills is very time consuming. It takes much longer for it to sew an embossed film, an embossed fill, than it does to sew this tatami. And also, another thing you can do with this is leave it this, and there's also different versions of this. You can click here. You can maybe turn it that direction or something else. But I'm going to undo that. You can also open it up, and by that I mean down here at the bottom, you can change the spacing, and the more you open it, the more background you see through it. See how it's opening here? And that's handy when you want something to look very lacy, or you even want to make lace. Doing that, you would want to come up here and turn off the underlayment. Notice once the underlayment is off, this is all that's left. Underlayment are stitches that it puts down at right angles to the fill to give it support. It also gives it lift, and it also connects it to the stabilizer, but it's mostly for support. See how big this is? So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to make it smaller again. Come on. There, oops, too far. Let's go up to, I want to say about a 1. That's a third. That's 0.06, 0.7, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09. I want to say 1 should do it. All right, so this is much more opened up and lacier. Let me show you coming in here. And this is basically what I did in the last video I put out on making the applique for the black velvet vestment. This is what I did, was I used the tatami and just simply opened this up and took off the underlayment so that there's no stitches going this way. It just stitches this way. You also have, let's do another section on here. Let's do in this section here, a motif fill. Now, motif fills are, let me come out a little bit. It's sewing, does stitches that have a pattern to them. So, and again, down here, there are a ton of different kinds of motifs. This is the one that's selected, the default one, but you could do any kind you wanted in here. And again, you can change the sizes of all of these. Some of them have, satin, are made up of satin stitches. Some are made up of straight stitches. Some are more elaborate than others. Let's do one of these. Is almost more look. You can make something look almost like cross stitch by doing some of these, or black work. If you know what black work is, you can do. Here's a combination of satin in here. So I mean, there's a lot of different, and you can make your own stitches and motifs, which I have done. So here's the list of their. Come on. This is their embroidery album, but there's also one that I made, one for galloons, one for, this is another one that came with a candle wicking, if you want to do that sort of work. And then there's black work. And black work these are the designs in black work. So let's say we wanted this one. And I have my own, which is this one. And this is a chain stitch. This is for galloon. These were ones that I made for particular designs. And you can, so besides the basic stitches, the embossed stitches, the motif stitches, there's ripple stitches. Ripple stitches, they go out from a point, and you can change that point. I'm not going to go into that right now, but you can see how they go. And again, by increasing the space, you can, this is, notice it goes in a circle, and that's what this is doing. You can also do cross stitches. You can turn this into a cross stitch design just by clicking that. Now, all it's doing is putting cross stitches in that whole area of that color. So if you were, and this does have the ability to do real cross stitch, but again, those are a whole different set of lessons. So again, we just brought in something, and we automatically digitize it just by clicking one button. And then by going in here, you can change it any way that you want to get whatever design you want out of it. And that's the easiest way to, and that's for basic embroidery. For most things, most people who use these programs in their homes with their embroidery machines, that's all they really want to do is bring in a design, maybe sew it on let's say a baby's bib, or around the collar of a dress. And you could bring in all kinds of floral designs. I'm going to show you one other thing here. So I'm coming up here to File. I'm not going to go hit the New button. File, New from Template. And you can set this up in your program. This template has my name, and this is the fabric that I use almost exclusively. This is set up. It says pure cotton, but I've set this up that is pretty much like what the vestment fabric would be. Why do you do this? Because if it knows what the fabric is, it automatically makes certain adjustments in the embroidery to allow for distortion. This is required topping, requires stabilizers. It doesn't need any topping, and the back can be a tearaway. It says 2 layers. I simply use a heavy cutaway. The background, I can choose the background I want here. I would put maybe a picture of the fabric under it, but I don't do that. But the important part when I set this up was it also set up my threads. In the template is also saved all of these threads. Notice from 1 to 20, these are all Mettler's threads. As I do this over the top of them, notice it all says Mettler, because I sew with Mettler threads. And I put in the threads that I use the most. Notice from 1 to 21, actually 21 is also a repeat of 2, and 22 is a repeat of 1, and 23 is a repeat, repeat of 3. Why do I do that? Most designs, because when I bring in a design, let's bring in a design. All right, my designs. All right, let's just do the one that we just had here. Design number 1 that we just made, the butterfly design. All right, so, finally, it's showing the colors now. So here's the colors. And again, you would want to probably resequence these so that all the colors are the same. But for now, it has these 4 colors. So if I were to copy this, edit, select all, notice now they're no longer grayed out, copy, and bring it into here and paste it. All right, now it's in this hoop. I need to turn this hoop. Let me come out a little bit. All right, I want to click off so the hoops show up. And I'm going to turn that wrong way. All right. Notice it brought those 4 colors in at the beginning, and it totally went over the colors that were already there. Most designs that I bring in are usually less than 20 colors. Now it brought these in, but these are Janome colors, and I want Mettler colors. So I would click this and click this and turn it into a Mettler. This one into a Mettler. Now this brown is a Janome brown, and the closest to in Mettler is the 1055. So I would turn it to that. This one is a Janome Gold Sunflower, which I don't have in my collection because I'd have very few colors. So I would come in here and look for the yellows, a yellow that's close to it in the colors that I do carry, which is going to be about a 600. Okay. So Liberty Gold, no. I want a Buttercup. It's actually brighter than that. So I'm going to make it that color. And now these are Mettler colors. And so I repeat the first colors because even though this color is the same, this color is cinnamon, which is also the same as this color up here, they're repeated. It doesn't matter because almost never bring a design in that has more than 20 colors. And so even if it knocks out these colors, I still have those same colors here. And there's 70, there's I want to say you can go to 100 and something, 128 colors. So I can add more colors to this, but it always begins at the beginning and starts knocking out the colors at the very beginning. And as I say, these are the colors that I use the most. These are the colors from my palette. And so I spent one day going through here and adding all of these colors in the order that I like them, so that I have these are colors that I use for flesh tones and in portraits. These are colors these are most of my browns. These are most of the reds that I use, the golds and oranges that I use, and yellows. The pinks these are not really pinks. These are more taupe and chiffon colors. The greens that I use, the blues that I use. Then the grays, purples, and then some odd ones at the end. This is Janome. This is Janome Gold. This is a metallic thread. Whoops, I just changed it to that. Come back there. These two are both metallic threads. This is a light Janome thread, gold metallic thread, and this is the dark metallic gold thread. And those are the numbers for their numbers. So that's why these still say Janome. And there's a few other colors here that are, most of these are Isacord, which is the same as Mettler, but I have them in large spools. And so I put them down as that, or added them at the end because there were colors that I bought and it's very difficult to add them into the middle of it. So they always add on the end. So anyway, this is a basic 101 class. All you had to do was click one button. Next time we'll look at some. I'll do some few more classes and show you how some of the other features over here on the side work.